Okay, here's a question about using the binomial expansion to expand this bracket here. Most of it's done for you. In fact, there are only two letters we need to find. Use the formula booklet to look up the binomial expansion. There's a worked example on this around about page 13 in your Core 2 Chapter 1 booklet. It's worth checking that you can get for yourself this minus 32x cubed term. Although you don't need to, it does verify the method you're using is correct, so you can feel good about your P and your Q. Then in part B, we've got to find the coefficient of x in this expansion, which means we don't need to generate all the terms. X is actually quite near the beginning. You actually only need the second term of the expansion. You may want to start by getting the first two or even the first three of the terms in the same way as you did up here, just so you're in the rhythm of the binomial expansion, but it is only that one term. Remember, the coefficient is not the whole term, it's just the number in front of the x. So don't include any x's in your answer to that. And then in part C, we've got to find the coefficient of x in this big horrible expansion. Now it doesn't say hence, but you do need to realise that that part of it is what you expanded in A, and the second half is what you expanded in B. We just want the coefficient of x. So although this is a big horrible expansion including some very high powers of x, we want just the simple x coefficient. If you imagine you had expanded both of those out in full, which you have for the first one but not the second one, if you use the grid method to expand everything out, you'll get a constant term and an x term and an x squared term up to an x to the 4 term for this, and for this one you'll have a constant term and an x term and an x squared term all the way up to x to the power 9s. But in the whole grid, the only place you'll get x terms are here, a constant times x and x times a constant there. So it's only those two terms, it's only that top left hand corner of the grid you need to complete, and then the total of those two terms will give you the coefficient. Once again, don't include any x's in your answer. So draw a partial grid to imagine how you'd expand out the answer to that times the answer you got in part B for that.